Hey Alexis, did you know that emperor penguins can dive over 1,800 feet and stay underwater for about 20 minutes?
No, I wish I could stay underwater for 20 minutes.
I know, talk about like a synchronized swimmer. I mean,
Yeah,
oh God. Unfortunately, though, their unique habitats are disappearing because of the, rise in
thumbs down.
temperature.
Yeah,
Yeah, really thumbs down.
bummer.
Well, hey everyone, we're Green Thread, and we're here to pull on threads that connect climate issues to the world around us. I'm Allie,
And I'm Alexis.
and we hope that you stay tuned for some cool topics we're going to talk about today, which, based on what I was talking about just a second ago with the penguin, you might be thinking, what? But if you're just listening audibly, you won't understand what we're talking about. If you are watching us, then here's where that ties into what we're talking about. So, a lot of people will kind of feel more connected, I feel like, to the climate when they're looking at art. And I didn't really know that there was a lot of people who do put their environmental advocacy into art forms until I was doing more research on this topic. And I realized that there is one specific art person named OLAFUR ELIASSON who has this art piece called Ice Watch, and he does it around London, so it's not in just one part, but he'll like put them up, and they're basically just different pieces of ice, and they look like they've been melting, and there's different forms of the ice melting, but just kind of to like show how we're impacting, the Arctic and
Yeah.
like penguins' habitats and other animals there. I know there's been a lot of polar bear news about how they're overheating or not able to find food sources because the water's too warm, yada, yada, yada. But that was one thing that I found really interesting. And when you look at the pictures, which we can link those so y'all can just click right on it, but they are so like heart-wrenching because, I mean, the piece itself is beautiful. But to just like know the underlying message, and I saw like some kids were like playing with them, and I'm like, wow, they have no idea.
Yeah.
But that was one of the ones I saw. Also, I know that people have seen this like circling the internet, but I don't know if they knew who was doing it, and we really don't know. But there's a piece that it's like it's a street art, and it's of a girl, and she's like chasing a balloon with a heart, and it's like floating away from her. But that was done by what our undetermined artist called Banksy's. But he's known, or this person's known, for doing street art with climate change, which I thought was really interesting because a lot of people talk about graffiti and have like a negative connotation with it. But I think that for someone to silently like advocate for the things that are happening not around them, that's just very cool to like see people connect.
I think the fact that we don't exactly know who it is and that it's anonymous, that really helps because instead of drawing attention to, hey, look what I did, it's just, especially with graffiti too, you're putting it right in someone's face and being like, pay attention to this. And you're not necessarily saying, pay attention to me. You're saying, look at this. And like, how do you feel from this? And as someone who was in the arts and is in the arts and is passionate about the arts, that's something that invoking emotion from people through art is a huge thing, and I love to see it. I love to see, big pieces about climate change, or even, like you said, the kids playing on the sculpture. That is so ironic almost.
Yeah.
Like I know they're just kids, whatever, they're doing kid stuff, but they don't know the bigger picture behind it. Nobody told them really, and they're just like, oh, let's play on this today,
Right, right. And I mean, it's unfortunate they have to grow up in a world where this is an issue that we're having to talk about, but I think also to see it be put into that kind of physical form, while they're playing on it, it's still something for the parents to maybe think, oh, wow, well, hold on, kids, let's not do
Yeah, hold
that.
on.
Let's not make this a playground.
Yeah.
That kind of speaks to the message that the artist is trying to portray in the beginning. There's also one that I thought was really, really cool. I don't know if it's a painting or a drawing. I couldn't tell by my research, but somebody by the name of John Gerard, he has this piece called Western's Flag, and it's basically just a smoking flag on a flagpole, symbolizing our reliance on fossil fuels, which was like, that almost sent me to like Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I couldn't tell if it was a drawing. I think it was a picture, but I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. But that was really, really interesting. And then, I mean, that took me towards my point of like, taking pictures or having some sort of art form. And I think a lot of photojournalism has been really important in like art and activism because, I mean, how many people, I mean, maybe not a lot, but how many people do you know that like, take pictures of wildlife and they'll post them in
Right.
journals and stuff? I mean, the pictures that you look at, and if you're in a science field, you see those firsthand in a textbook. There's somebody behind that, somebody that's trying to portray a message maybe about a specific species or about a population, whatever it may be, there's a picture. And the biggest name that we're all going to know is National Geographic.
Oh yeah, of course. Everyone sees National Geographic photos, even if you aren't intentionally looking for that or have a subscription on Instagram, or even for the National Park Service, they post a lot of photos of wildlife, of bears. All the time I see pictures, videos of bears and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, I know. And there's people that have won awards because of
Yeah.
like their entries, and they're not only photos, they're like, magazine articles and written portions. But the one that I saw the most, information about was from Paul Nicklin and Christina, Minemeyer. I probably just butchered that last name, but they're both like really big award winners that have done really amazing work with camera. But that's one of those things that I've started to get into. I love taking photos. I'm in photography right now, but as far as like my reason for starting it wasn't necessarily for like humans. It was because I want to take pictures of animals and species of plants and whatever, and hopefully one day, have some sort of photo in there. Just because like, if you have all these people across the US, the world, wherever, finding something on a hike or walking down their street and they take a picture of it. I mean, that's connecting so many different dots.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just thinking about back to a previous episode of Citizen Science, which go watch it if you haven't. That's, that can contribute to citizen science all the time. I'd take a picture of a mushroom or something on a walk, or a bird, or I don't know, anything. And if I post that and get other people to see it and we're all talking about it, that's, a great way to facilitate citizen science or just facilitate a conversation about, okay, how is technically this art form impacting climate change, talking about the environment in general.
Exactly. I mean, people really pull on their emotional like strings when they look at any sort of visual, whether or not it's like actually going to a park and seeing the thing for real in real life, or it's looking at like a photo from somebody else and seeing that, mushroom or a frog or a salamander. I always feel like every time I see a picture of something, I'm always like, look how cute. And that's like immediately I'm like, all right, what do I know about it? What can I learn about it? And so I'm like, wow, my brain just automatically went into like student mode.
Yeah.
Like, teach me your ways.
Yeah.
But that's so fun. Another thing that I've noticed though is with how many people are, trying to extrovertedly show their love and passion for the environment. They're trying to do it in maybe not ways of like photos or art, but they're doing it in ways of like making their home look very, artsy, naturey, and especially people who live in the city because they don't really have a lot of access to like green spaces, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I know with that, there comes a lot of, I think, issues because maybe the way that they're trying to go about it isn't the most sustainable. And so, while they're just trying to kind of retouch in their nature love, they're actually kind of not doing the best for the environment. And so I was going to highlight some ways in which you can maybe be more eco-friendly when like searching for, decorations for your house. A lot of the stores that I found, which luckily are ones that you probably have gone to, like Target, Pop Shelf, even like Home Depot, Hobby Lobby, they all, if you look for materials like bamboo or reclaimed wood, even like any recycled materials, more than likely, A, they're better quality in my opinion, but B, they're, more sustainable and have come from recycled materials. So it's not like you're doing the thing that we talked about in fast fashion, where over consuming one in, one out. And so for this, you're basically doing one in, like two out, because whatever they made or whatever they got it from somebody else, you're repurposing for yourself, and it looks better and a cutie. And oh my God, I've just seen so many people do some crazy things with recycled goods.
Yeah, me too. And going back to another previous episode, we talked about thrifting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could thrift furniture. My sister, firsthand experience, me and my sister, we went to Goodwill. She was shopping for her home, and we found a coffee table, perfectly good condition. It looked like it was good quality wood. It almost looked like somebody had made that themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it was $13. So it was good for her wallet, and we were like, bet, like, we're putting this in the back of the car. So
Right.
we did that, and I mean, it saved, you know, wood from making a new coffee table, or if I wanted a specific thing, getting somebody to use those materials to make a specific one. That was a way to save those materials for something else, or just to conserve those materials by just buying something that's already out, that's already been used and loved on, and now we have it. So
Exactly. And especially with like wood materials, I know I used to refurbish furniture that I had and sell them. And so like I'll just sand it down and repaint it.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
exactly.
it doesn't take much.
Yeah, it doesn't. I've done the
repurpose.
same thing. It doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't. Some people just, maybe they get a little intimidated by the fact that it is kind of like a hands-on project and they don't know if they have the materials to do so. But like getting sandpaper is super cheap and paint is super cheap. So there's so many ways, and there's so many DIYs online too to look at. Because I bought my side table from a woman on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
She had refurbished her side table, and it's so cute. She has like paper that has like a chevron marking for that took me back to like 2010 2012. And then like it's painted green on the outside, and like she coated to the top with some like clear coat, and it's done me wonders. I love it so much.
Yeah, I love that.
But not only with like furniture, but I think also going back to decor, like people often don't know about the lighting in their house. Because I don't know if anybody out there is not overhead light people. I'm not
an overhead light person. Do not, if you come in my house, do not turn on an overhead light. Turn on the lamp in the corner.
Literally. But I mean, one of the ways that you could fix the, I guess, stimulation is by using LED lights, which also use less energy in the long run. That, or just like having any sort of like energy saving appliances, which I think Alexa and like other products like that, what was it, Google Home, they all have like energy saving modes now, I think. Thankfully. So maybe that could be a way, because you can say Amazon Alexa, like turn off my lights or something, and she'll turn on your lights. Or have it on a schedule. That's another thing, because when I had LED strips I used to have, which probably weren't sustainable, but I was working on a really, really low budget. I put them on a schedule, and they were only on for 5-ish hours of the day, and it was only at night, so I could like see to get in my kitchen. But things like that. But also, like, if you have any sort of windows that are faced towards the sun at most times of the day, just opening your curtains. I don't think that I ever use lights during the day.
I really don't. I just open my curtain, I let the light in. It's kind of hard in the summertime in Georgia. It gets real hot, but I power through most of the time. I'll just, get a big glass of water, and I'm like, I just want the natural light, please. And it's honestly, it's better for you too to have natural light. There have been studies done, I've talked about it in previous classes, psychology classes years ago, that natural light is just so much better for you, for your mental health, for your physical health, versus sitting under artificial light and just not seeing natural light for a long time.
Right. I mean, you probably go delirious.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. I know, as soon as I wake up, if there's even like an inch of light, which is easier now that the time changed, I just literally whip open my curtain and I'm like, I'm up.
Yep, I'm here, I'm awake, I'm vertical, I'm in the world.
Maybe not mentally, but I'm definitely there physically now. But rolling back to like decor and sustainability, another thing that I feel like goes really hand in hand with this is like if you like indoor plants. Maybe, not if you're not a big, I'm not gonna say responsible person, because that sounds really rude.
Yeah.
But like if you feel like you're just not confident in your abilities to keep up with something on a regular basis, then just get like fake plants. That's fine.
Yeah.
But as far as like the types of plants, I know like there are low maintenance plants like pothos, snake plants, even succulents, cactuses. I don't think I've ever killed one cactus, and if I did, it was because I didn't water it for like 7 months.
Yeah, literally. I haven't had too many indoor house plants, but I've had succulents. I've had plenty of succulents, and then I had a couple of cacti at one point. And even though, school gets busy, my mental health drops off, whatever may happen, I don't take care of them because I'm not taking care of myself. They still survive. And then afterwards, when I like get my stuff together, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll water them and take care of them again, and they're fine. So they're troopers. There are some plants out there that will survive.
For real. And like it's a bonus because like you don't have to do it too much. It's like very low effort, but also you can look at it and be like, wow, it's alive. And like name them. I think that one of the,
I love naming my plants. I love
Me
naming my
too.
plants. I used to have a bamboo plant, actually. It was
Aw.
gifted to me, and I named it Celeste, and that was one of my favorite plants I've ever had.
I love that. I know I had I mean mine's kind of basic. It was a little cacti that like had an arm almost. It was like almost raising up its
Oh,
hand.
that's cute.
And I was like, that's Steve.
Steve.
And Steve was a trooper for a long time, and then I went off to college and unfortunately forgot him and he died.
No, rip Steve. He's missed.
That's okay. But also on the like topic of buying indoor plants, do your research as far as if you have pets, because I know a lot of
Yes, I was
them,
gonna bring that up. Yeah.
yeah, it's really, especially with cats. Just I'm a little biased there, but
Yep, me too.
there's a lot of toxic plants that you could have
Yeah.
indoors. So just do your research on them, especially if they're going to be in a room that the pets can access. But as far as like just trying to reconnect with nature, I think indoor plants are a great idea for that, because it kind of brings your yard inside. If you don't have a yard, it brings green inside.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you had said earlier, for people who live in a city, they don't have a lot of access to green spaces. So having a little bit of green inside can help them, and that's a way that they can help bring green spaces to their community. So even just having them in their own apartment, if they have roommates, encouraging them to have them as well, or encouraging their neighbors to have plants as well, could be a great thing too.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I love going over to people's houses if I see they have plants, and I'll
Oh, me too.
be like, what's that one?
Yeah.
Or like I'll use my Seek app going back
Yes,
to our,
yep,
our app.
I love Seek. I will stand by Seek always. And I'm actually curious, do you have houseplants? Like, I have a cat, and I'm always worried that I'm going to buy something that's toxic for her. So I don't know how much research you've done or if you even have any plants, but what are your thoughts? What are your recommendations?
Yeah, well, as far as like right now, I don't have any indoor plants. I did though when I was at my apartment. However, a lot of them like begonias, and I did have a whole succulent thing, and they are technically still toxic to cats, so I put them outside on my balcony and they were fine, but it was only for seasonal because begonias do die.
Yeah.
And then with my cacti that I had, I put them up on a windowsill and tried to make it to where my cats couldn't get up on that windowsill, and that's
Yeah.
how I was able to keep it away. But as far as like the types of plants, I would honestly just kind of, it's called Planta. I don't know
Okay.
if anybody's ever heard of it, but that one is not only good for like researching toxicity of plants, but also for like seeing what, like keeping up with your plant's care. So it'll send you notifications to your phone
Oh,
if you need
that's
to water your plant or
Yeah.
whatever. And that was how I was able to keep up with mine. But I don't have any right now, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And honestly, I think it would be good if afterwards we do a little bit of research and link some stuff for you guys.
Yeah,
That way,
yeah.
we'll both learn something.
Yeah, that'd be so much fun. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. As always, if you were able to see us, then you'll be able to get that exclusive scoop at the very beginning. But if you're just listening audibly, we hope you keep tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.